Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello again. Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast. This is the holiday edition part 2. And this is where we bring to you the best moments and advice of 2023. There were so many that we couldn't fit them in one episode. So this is part 2. Enjoy.
The pandemic changed a lot of things, right. And we just realized that there's a lot of different ways to do business. And my 3 biggest selling customers are women that sell out of their house or out of a side office in their house or, out of a Walmart parking lot, for Pete's sake, and they're doing more than these stores, and they're legitimate. They have a tax ID. There's nothing where I would have been against them a long time. Oh, they're undercutting the brick and mortar, but it's just things have changed. The way we shop has changed a little bit. I was in the front with the woman, and this woman crawled. They distracted everyone, crawled into the back, took $120,000 out of the safe in 5 minutes. I mean, they're magicians. You go to a magic show, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the sleight of hand is unbelievable. Yeah. You can have a diamond ring in your hand, and you look down and it's not in your hand. They're just really been trained since birth to steal. I mean, it's incredible. They're artists. If I say, if we catch one bad guy, the whole J Can thing is worth it.
Exactly.
And we have, there was a guy who was going around selling a fake Rolex. The woman recognized him from JHJ and, or the Crime Network.
Yeah, she saw his picture 30 minutes earlier or something.
Like that. And so she called the cops and they arrested the guy. I mean, so it does work.
Let's help you grow. And it starts from a very simple thing, because when a customer comes into your network today, he's coming in for something he doesn't know you exist.
Right.
And the mere fact that he has responses faster than anywhere else, the ability and the ease of how to use any of the services you offer is really going to make you separate out from the rest. And then comes the ingredients, right? I mean, just like the recipe, right? So you got to have the right ingredients to make that recipe. And that is really truly a finesse and a very good art to do it. But you got to love coming into work. It's got to be your passion. We're not in this for the money part. That was different in my younger years, but the passion truly drives it.
This old wise guy in that industry, he said, go to the place that nobody else wants to go, because that's where the opportunity is. That's a cleaned up version of what he was telling me, but he wasn't wrong. Roswell was a place at that time that was not booming and thriving, and small business was not, it was all going to big corporations and stuff. But there was a ton of opportunity in the place that wasn't the prettiest, the biggest. There was opportunity. And I would say in the 10 years since then, it's been some wonderful advice. I've had more opportunities being able to do so much more where I'm at in this company, in this business, than I ever would if I had gone anywhere else. Successes are coming from those areas where technology meets our values, which is excellence and honesty and relationality. And when the technology allows us to be better, more relational, be more honest, and achieve more excellence, that's the best success we've had. It's being true to ourselves without getting lost in all the pretty glistening technology or lines. It's being true to yourself and your values while also building on these new things.
I think a lot of jewelers try to figure out how to do more, do it better. When they're face to face with their clients, the clients love them. But when they're not face to face, they kind of struggle on how do they bring that value, that personality to them when they can't physically shake their hand. And what you just said, technology meets our values, and how you've taken that to continue on the relationship.
I love jewelry. I enjoy making jewelry. I love people more. I love people the most. So I'm in a people business. And that's one of the things that brought me back to this. You got to find something that's true to you and then become successful at it. And then you've got to want to be a business owner. Younger generation got a letterhead. On the top of it, it was the store name. And then it said, Herein is the purchase agreement from this generation, the next generation. And it was a blank page. At the bottom of the page, it was 2 signature lines and a date. The younger generation signed it, dated it, gave it to his dad. Blank contract, said, here, fill it out. Whatever you put on there, I've already agreed to it. I was like, that was how they sold the business to each other.
Wow.
And yeah, right. I was like, what? What struck me is they said, if you don't trust each other that much, if you don't trust that you love each other that much, just get attorneys. It's just a regular sale of a business from one person to another. Do it that way. But if you're going to be involved with family and you love each other and you trust each other, that's how much trust you have to have. Some of the best education I think we can get is people who don't sell jewelry, but are experts in some way. That's including, I've seen great psychologists bring emotional training to your organization, your team training, diversity training, leadership training, statistics. I mean, that's essentially what inventory management is, right? What I'm finding is we can improve by targeting our marketing and in different ways and using the same identifiable ads that was our brand and our image, but saying the right things to the right people. So I don't have any secrets. It's be willing to be critical of yourself and admit when things aren't working. I would say that we've been doing a good job in recent years of marketing, but since COVID, I've really gone, well, I think we need to be more critical of these things in independent arenas. And as you do that, you find some areas are really outperforming others.
Right.
So you need to double down in that, vice versa. So
we also, of course, have the Southern Charm. We will offer our clients to beverages of their choice from Coke, Sprite, water, wine, whiskey, champagne, cold beer, and a frozen mug. Just something I've always believed is that if you eat and drink with someone, they will become your friends. And we're in the business of making friends, not just selling jewelry. We had what's called a customer appreciation event, and he's writing these very lengthy ads, letter, and he said, trust me, it's going to work. And good Lord, did it ever. Never had an experience like that before. We did as much in 3 days as we normally do in a month. And just could not believe it. And been gravy ever, roses and sunshine ever since.
Fantastic.
Marketing. For all those listeners out there,
especially when
Guy. Yeah, I mean, Guy has jewelry store marketing. His business helps your SEO, make sure that your Google is up there. Jim Ackerman, another great guy. Bill Warren has, another group of mind masters. When jewelers get together and you learn, look how successful you are in your reviews and business. That's just fantastic.
Number one thing, if your kids are going to go into it, don't do like my dad did. Make them work somewhere else first. You have to get outside experience. It's just a crucial part of it. So I have 2 sons and a daughter. One of the sons followed into the business, and I like to joke that he got tired of waiting for me to die, so he moved on to his own jewelry store, and has actually become one of the coolest stores in America. As a phenomenal business, and he may be one day willing to take over it, but we're working out the details. It's just slow going. But I would recommend people put their kids through GIA, put them through jewelry repair school, make them work at least 2 or 3 years with another business outside of your trade area, and let them get real world experience.
Knowledge is power. Any education I can get, I will take, especially if it's free.
Perfect.
But just always trying to improve and keep a leg up on my competitor. I'm particular with the vendors that I do choose, only ones that have websites with B2B access so that I can gain access to images for my website, check current prices when I'm with the customer, and ones that provide me with social media material.
Right.
Because I don't have time to take all my own pictures, so I have a bank going.
Right.
Saves me a lot of time. I go on to all my vendors' Facebook and Instagram accounts every Monday. My stores close on Mondays, so that's when I do my social media planning for the week, and I schedule all my posts. But I also follow a lot of my competitors and other people all around and take screenshots, while I'm watching TV at home to get inspiration. And I have a folder on my computer of inspiration, and I try and duplicate, replicate, put my own twist on it.
Right.
Nobody comes into your store anymore. They want to look you up on the website first, decide if it's worth their time to get out of bed, put on their clothes, and come in.
Right.
So I think it's really important to have a good online presence and have people have an idea of what it's all about, not just your prices, but the culture and the atmosphere.
Right.
And it's very easy when you display everything in a good, better, best. People will almost always buy the middle item.
Got it. Do you, is that in one case, or are you talking like front, middle, back, or?
Nope. So each case is programmized. Everything I have: gold chains, diamond studs, wedding bands. Yes, I love events. I would love to do one a month, but I just don't have the time or. But we do a buying event 3 times a year, where my customers bring in items to sell. With lab-grown diamonds, I'm a little more gun-shy to be buying over the counter.
Yep.
Also, you have a lot of people coming in with unrealistic expectations of selling their engagement ring. I don't have to be the bad guy. Somebody else can do it.
Yeah.
But then I also do a wedding ring showcase twice a year. I partner with a vendor, and the salesperson comes, brings all their samples.
Well, it's a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of making mistakes. It was a lot of kind of dreaming about what I wanted to make eventually and finding the wherewithal to get from point A to point B to point C and so on all the way down. So it was a process over several years to just try and make a mistake and try again and make it good and ask questions and go in stores and take a look at what other people were doing and go back and emulate and do the best I could. And so it was one day at a time. I think the designs keep coming from just being on the road, just being in the path, being in the moment, and turning the page and learning from the experiences of what we've done in the past, as well as kind of the story and the hand that we have in our jewelry. So there is a look or a brand that we have from an intellectual property point of view, and understanding what that looks like and understanding how it works architecturally in pieces. You find new stones, or you find new shapes, or you find different things that work, and so you keep moving along that path as well. So the fun part is really designing the jewelry, but there are a lot of other attributes that really lay into being able to do that and move forward and have the finances to keep moving forward. So
when you look, especially here at RGO, you look around at all the jewelers, they're old.
Yes.
I mean, I'm old,
Yeah.
and succession is
So
a
what's
hot topic.
the tip? At 13, don't give them a choice.
Exactly.
Get to work.
Yeah. Well, so I had 5 kids, 4 boys and a girl, and the first thing I did is I made them all work in the company when they were little, doing something. I wanted to have an exposure to it, and then I always offered it to them. If you want to go down this path, we can work it out.
Yeah.
Only one of them really took me up on the offer. And I'm thankful I at least had the one. It only takes one. So
There you go.
I think that's what some jewelers have the challenge with is giving up control.
Right.
And one of the biggest things for growth in a jewelry store is to give up to delegate.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of jewelers can't do that.
Yeah,
And,
you have to allow them to lead, and
Yeah.
it's hard, particularly a family member. I can see that.
Yeah, and you got to let them make a mistake. I mean,
Right.
Yes.
I mean, it's like they're not going to do it the same way you're going to do it, and they're not going to be perfect at it, but they have to learn.
Yeah,
And the only way they're going to learn is to get some experience at doing it.
that's right.
And so,
Right.
I mean, I just run away from the store and I make my son, run it.
Yeah, that's a strategy.
Well, so he was homeschooled, and so some of the things that I made him learn was things like Photoshop, Excel,
Yeah.
things that were going to help him in life, basically.
Right. Yeah.
No matter what job he had, if he knew Photoshop and he knew Excel, he would excel.
That's it. That's it.
Our industry is built on trust, on both sides of the fence, with vendor retailer relationships to customer and retailer relationships. And the thing about video, it builds that trust because they can feel like they know you. I mean, why are we all enthralled with watching, YouTube videos all the time? It's like we feel like we know them.
Exactly.
And once you feel that, then you're confident and you're comfortable.
You could put beautiful pictures and really beautifully written text on a page, and it gets lost, wasted. A lot of people don't read it. And the video, a lot of people stick around, want to, watch the video. It's people love watching things these days.
Oh, they do, yeah.
And they can really feel your passion. When you say, man, I love doing this.
Right,
you
right.
feel it, you see it in their face. And I think a lot of people, I was just telling Diamond Guy earlier, I'm like, man, I love how you say it, but I don't think you're getting the attention that you should.
Right.
Because you got this little sign, look like probably 10 other Diamond Guys out there.
Yeah.
But the way you talk about your business and the passion and how you take care of clients, you can't. You need to be. You need to duplicate yourself 1,000 times and be in front, or put a video out.
Yeah.
Yep.
The number one key to success, the reason why our transition was successful, and I think it was the reason why John's transition was successful from Mr. Lewis back in the 90s. My advice always is to the people who are selling it is you have to be willing to give up more than you think you're going to have to give up when you go into the process. It has to be important for you, for your legacy and that business to carry on. It's worth it to get in to a business, pay your dues, work from the ground up, take out that trash, change the watch batteries, because that never changes. Change 2 batteries a day. So it's you do what you have to do. It is retail. This is not the hardest job that I've ever had in my life. That bussing the tables job was probably the worst job I had in my life. Right. I get to wear a suit for a living and sell beautiful things to people who are in love. So my best advice is it's worth it for both sides, because our jewelry stores in all of our communities are beacons. They're a part of our towns. It should be important for those stores to carry on. Had we not evolved and gone so heavy in social media and just stuck to the billboards that were working for us at that time, we wouldn't have seen the success that we have today. So it's a constant evolution. And I think so many times in our industry, we come up with an image that works. And branding is important. And you don't want to tinker with that. That's not what I'm talking about. But in terms of how you deliver the message and certain messages and what messages you want to deliver, that can evolve and change. And most importantly, how you deliver that message. You can see our 1,100 5-star reviews or whatever it is now. I mean, it's literally because we hired good people. We empower them to make decisions that they don't need to come ask me for every little thing. It's like, make the client happy. If the client leaves unhappy, then I'm unhappy. If you just put yourself on a pedestal and say, I only want to have the $5,000 and above sales, you can do that. And there are businesses that can be successful and do that. I think you need to be in a large city, and I think you need to have tons and tons of competition to do that and to just specialize in one individual thing. But for me, that campaign, size doesn't matter. And now we've changed it a little bit. It says size doesn't matter, love matters. Because it reinforces that we truly don't care how much somebody spends. And the second part of that line was, we don't care how much you spend. We just want you to focus on why you're spending. And that really sent the right message. It tugs the right heartstrings. The other thing that you have to do, and Guy, this will be music to your ears, is you have to empower that marketing company to do things sometimes even when you don't agree with them.
Amen.
It's really important.
Sorry.
And Guy, preach. It's really important, Guy, in your line of work on the SEO side of things, because I'm sure it's really frustrating. Is Guy will do a Google ad for somebody, and within 30 days they'll say, Guy, these results are terrible. We got 2 calls and we did this, we did that. Well, Guy understands that you have to run that thing for at least 6 months before you have any really manageable data on it, right?
Right.
Well, the same thing goes for just your marketing and your perception in general. Like, you have to give it some time. These things are all important. The videos are important, Guy, because it lifts the veil of the mystery of what we do.
Exactly.
They all think we're going to switch their diamonds, or we don't, we're just charging too much to size their grandmother's ring.
Right.
But there's reasons for all of that. So the video lets them behind the curtain a little bit and charms?
Well, charms are the first form of jewelry. They're from 560 BC, so they've certainly stood the test of time. And a charm bracelet's usually the first real piece of jewelry that a young girl receives. And it's an excellent way to introduce someone to your store, to buying jewelry, to collecting it, the sentimental connection you have. And you hope that girl comes back some point in her life for an engagement ring.
Right.
And every other jewelry need there. So the crossover sales with our program, when you have a display case in the store, is really what it's all about. You'll sell the silver that's in the case. You'll get the special order gold as well, that when they see and feel the quality of the silver there. And we have over 15 types of displays available, so depending on the store, we can make sure we have the right option for them to consider.
To be able to go into the booth, to see your vendor partners, who are many times, have become friends.
Yes.
Go look at their things that they have. Let them show you the things that are brand new. You look at it, you touch it, you feel it. Like I tell my clients, I am eyes on and I'm hands on when I'm at the show. So if you have a request, I'm going to go find it. And then also just to have some new products for the store. There's something to be said for being able to look at those things in person. Maybe we find a new vendor, we find a new product, but we wouldn't have known about it if we didn't come to the show.
Well, as a retailer myself.
Well, because in the daily grind, like you're saying, the daily grind of just running your business, and I have that pile on my desk right now, so it's hard to get to those things. But when you come to the show, there's nothing else to focus on.
Yes.
You're focused. We have a couple of days to get a lot of things done, and it's just different. And you also get to kind of do it on your own. Even though we have a very short period of time, you also get to do it on your own time, right?
Yes.
So I got here an hour ago, but we went out for coffee first, and then I'm going to come look, and I'm going to get my work done. But it's different than having a catalog in the store, and it's different than the vendor coming into my space, too. Because
we're fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, I got to say, being the only person here, probably not from the South.
You're not from Mississippi?
I'm a New Yorker.
You're in New York. Okay, perfect.
I'm a Georgia girl.
Perfect. So, but I don't have the word y'all in my vocabulary. But
by the way, to spell it, you'd be surprised how few people can't spell it. It's Y apostrophe
Yes.
ALL.
Okay.
Not
See,
YALL.
Yeah.
I would have messed that up.
Yeah.
I say it all the time now.
Okay.
See, what I noticed is coming down to the Atlanta Jewelry Show and going to the other shows, Vegas and others, right? That the Southern charm here is just different.
That's our Soho. That's Southern hospitality.
There you go, Southern
Yes.
hospitality. The
So-
Southern charm is different. People here are just friendlier, and it's a
100%.
great community.
Trade. And so I say I won the contest. Chris, who do you think won?
I won. Chuck, you used Kraft barbecue sauce. What respecting rib master doesn't make their own sauce?
Because my ribs are so good that I didn't have to do a sauce. So Brenda, here's where you come in.
This is when I was asked to taste both,
Mhm.
and I said, I think Chuck's ribs are the best, but Bill's sauce is
Chris-
the best.
Chris's, like, yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Chris's
Yeah.
sauce is
Yeah.
the best. So
Mhm.
why not put those two together?
And we're like, what?
that was a little too much.
So we put them together and high five.
Yeah.
Because when a 1 carat lab cost $4,200 or $3,600, I didn't see the need to sell one.
Mhm.
It didn't make any sense. There wasn't enough value there. Now you can sell a 1 carat round lab for like $1,200 at retail and make a huge margin on it. And the price may continue to drop on them. I can't predict the future, but I think that the prices have dropped to a point where it makes sense to sell them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for reaching the end of this podcast. This is the last podcast episode of the year 2023. We hope you had an amazing year, happy holidays, and wish you the safest happy new year. We'll see you in 2024. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.